Uh, we're good to go.
Perfect.
This one had some pretty questions about, I guess, vision, where we find ourselves in the future. And the first question, what visions do you have for your future personally, professionally, 1 year from now, 5 years from now? And me personally, I put that at, I believe I'm going to be in the same place I am now because I'm comfortable with my job. And, the pay is good, the benefits are great. My position is secure because of the union. Um,
Mm-hmm.
5 years from now, I think I'm still going to be where I'm at, to be honest. I'll still be with the state. Unless my boss moves on, I'm going to still be doing exactly what I'm doing. I'm the type of person where if I'm comfortable, I'll pretty much stay planted for an unknown, undetermined amount of time. But I also am playing with the idea of moving to Vermont and headed south and trying to pick up from there. Basically, because Vermont doesn't, it's expensive to live here and not a whole lot of opportunity. Vermont has a saying, keep Vermont green, which means keep out infrastructure and growth. So that's pretty much what I was thinking about 1 year and 5 years from now. But there's so many variables, and I never really thought about it until reading this question.
Yeah. No, that's a good answer. Has anybody read the chapter 5 yet on 6?
To be honest, no, I haven't yet.
No, don't. No, we're early into the week. That's why it's like don't worry about it. Seriously. I got through chapter 5 today, and interesting, I kind of pre-looked at these questions, and then on page 113, you'll see, and just give you, I guess, a sneak peek of what's ahead. There's a part that says, "Look forward to times of rapid change." Let me just read this paragraph quick. Because people often ask, "How can I have a vision of what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years from now when I don't even know what's going to happen next week?" This question gets right to the heart and role visions play in people's lives. This is increasingly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So it's the VUCA response. Visions are even more important to human survival success when times are calm, predictable, simple, and clear. So I was trying to think of in terms of that, how to say what my vision would be. I guess right now, it's kind of like what Rob said, is I haven't really gave a whole lot of thought to my vision. My 1 year vision, I just put, to continue to learn more about leadership, what leadership means to me, and how I can, make it a part of my life going forward. And then as far as a 5 year plan, to be completely done with school, obviously I better be in 5 years from now. And to have been able to implement some of my different leadership stuff, and I guess just to practice using the different styles. Hopefully to have moved up higher in my organization, or to maybe potentially be with another job where I practice doing more style of leadership and project management.
I can see that. So for my job, the only thing above me would be either project management or district facilities manager. Project management, I'd be all for. District facilities manager, I don't, I don't think I want it. It's a lot more pay, a lot more responsibility, which I'm fine with. But I don't want it because you even got more of a tighter leash because you're dealing with the capital and all the higher ups that dictate exactly what they want you to do and how to do it. And that's not for me. At least at my level, I have a little bit more freedom to lead the way I want to.
Yeah, that's similar for me. The next role for Starbucks would be district manager. And I'm not particularly interested in that because it's kind of a similar thing where the responsibility goes way up and the pay is decent, but you're always on call. People can call you day or night at any time for any issue that they're having in a store. And personally, that's just not something that I want to deal with in my life. So I think if I was to stay with the company over the next 5 years, it would probably be in a corporate position, maybe partner resources or operations, something like that. but I really don't know what I want to do yet. I graduate in December, so I will probably apply for some different jobs at that time, but I don't have a super clear 5-year plan right now. I don't really know where I want to live or anything like that. So for me at my age, everything's really up in the air still, which I think in itself is a plan, is that I'm not tying myself to anything in particular. I'm just going to kind of see what I want to do and
Yeah,
travel as much as I can, definitely, as I'm doing right now.
that's a good plan. Because at my age, 46, I got kids that I still have to think about, a family I got to think about, and everything I plan, I have to incorporate them into it, which makes it more difficult. Like I want to go south to
Absolutely.
Virginia because I've lived there. I know there's a lot more opportunity, more money, and such. But then I got to think about my daughter, uprooting her, switching schools, stuff like that, or my wife and her job. You got a lot more constraints, I feel, as you get older and family oriented than when you're younger, and there's no restrictions. Sky's the limit on what you want to do, and how you do it,
Yeah.
where you go doing it.
Yeah, I'm definitely too selfish right now for a family. I just kind of want to follow what I want to do and travel as much as I can, take whatever opportunity I can.
No, totally. Honestly, like I mean, I love every bit of my family, but that's my advice: is don't be in a hurry. Like in the Midwest, there's this rhetoric that you got to have a family right after school. Like, and so many of my friends, like before they even got out of college or high school, had kids already, and it's like slow it down. And like my wife and I didn't have kids until later on in life, but I think because of that, like it gives you an opportunity to kind of find out who you are, get established professionally. Like there's a good and bad to both sides. I mean, just don't be in a rush. That's my recommendation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. I did a little backwards. I had kids very young. Then I was divorced and I refused to get married for like another decade because I was just trying to pack everything in that I thought that I had missed. And now I'm married again and everything is grand, but I did it backwards.
But no, I mean that's what I meant though. Like it works different ways for different people, and some of my friends had kids really young, and the benefit to that is you get to be that younger parent who can be really engaged and all that stuff, and can jockey the crazy hours of no sleep. And I mean so there's a good and bad to both sides. I mean,
right?
I could see that side of it for sure.
Well, I kind of look at it as pretty soon, and my daughter's in 8th grade now, and before I know it, she's going to be off to college, and I'm not going to be that old, so I'll still be able to do all of it.
Yeah,
there you
4
go.
years and she's in college.
Yes.
See, there's your long-term vision. Get your daughter into college and all that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. And find the right 6 numbers to set the lottery and not worry about anything.
If you, I'll go in on that ticket with you. Just let me know.
Sure.
I guess we might as well just keep going forward. Did you guys watch the video, or I mean the charter video? I thought it wasn't the kind of charter that I was expecting. I watched it, and it was, they talked about the ASU charter is more about who they're inclusive of, not who they're exclusive of. Which, I mean, I think it's a very grounding principle that you should be all inclusive. You should want to kind of help because they're a state or a community type college, and that I guess the thought process I had going into it is I can't remember what class it was, and maybe you guys have already taken it, but it's one where the main project is to do like a team charter, where the teacher had us once a week do like what we're doing here. You had to get online, you had to like put together a team charter, put together a project, and like a charter to me is a set of rules up front that you agree. Okay.
Yeah, I remember we probably had the same professor, and she was like super strict about the rules for meeting, and like threw you in a group that was just completely random, and it was horrible.
Yes, I know the first meeting was like a 2-hour meeting or something where she was part of your first meeting, and then she kind of let you go on your own from there, and I guess that's the preface I had of a charter, is like a charter sets rules to set up for success later on, where the charter that we watched before today was more about how, I guess maybe that is their rules. They want to be an all-inclusive school. It was different, like I said, than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I tried to take notes on that, and I really couldn't. It didn't seem like a whole lot of good information, except for what you said, that it's talking about ASU trying to cater a charter to everybody and talk a little bit about vision and such. But I personally didn't pull anything out of it that I thought that would appealed to our discussion, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one point that I took is that it kind of relates to some of the stuff I saw before that. Like when you create a team and you don't have like a team all the same demographic, but you kind of spread it out so you get a lot of different various like whether ethnicities or work backgrounds or experience, stuff like that. Diverse, that's what I'm thinking of. The more diverse you make a team, sometimes the more experience you can draw on. So I don't know if that's what they meant for ASU, but that's kind of, I guess, what I took out of the charter.
Right.
We might have just lost Corinne.
We
She'll
did.
come back.
She'll come back shortly.
Did you there's another Robert in the class and I keep getting you confused. It's like Robert Gilman. Because I was looking at the I took half of work just so I could do schoolwork and the discussion for the week. At first I'm like, oh, you already had yours done, but I saw it was him. Did you do the discussion yet?
I did it today while I was at work. I had a few moments, well, quite a few moments. And yeah, the problem I'm having with this class is tying it with my normal life is this class is, as we said before, the most writing intensive and demanding. So now I'm trying to sneak it in on breaks at work.
No, I hear you. I mean, luckily I got for the most part, I'm kind of an office guy right now. So, and my boss is really good with letting me, he's like, do schoolwork if you want when you're working. I mean, I feel sheepish doing it, but I don't know another way to manage it all right now. So I've been doing some at work too, but I took today off just to be like, I need to focus. Is there any way that you can send her, I was just looking at the text, an invite again?
Yeah.
Do it while we're doing this.
Let me see here.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay. She there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, that's weird. It like completely froze and then it just crashed and kicked me out of the call. So.
Yeah. We can hear you. Can't see you, but we can hear you. That's good enough.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say as long as, just do whatever you can. And if it does crash out again where you can't get on, if anything else, we can send you the link later and you could, kind of watch it and add notes accordingly or something. But
yeah, we're getting out of the city now, so I think it'll be better. I think that's what's blocking my signal a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What question were we on? Sorry.
We were actually just kind of filling time, waiting for you to come back, talking about the weekly discussion. I was just kind of talking about the Captain Hook book that we had to read.
Captain Cook. Yeah.
I always say Captain Hook.
Kind of interesting.
Captain Cook. Sorry. It was a little interesting. It was a little bit different too. In the terms of when I did the discussion, what I put making him as an effective leader, some people put as him as an ineffective leader. So I really think it depends on what frame you're looking through.
Yes, when I was trying to find people to respond to, and it wasn't hard to find people that saw it differently than I did.
Totally.
For instance, for ineffective leadership, I talked about how on the Dahidians, they're a communal kind of people, so their culture is nobody has possessions, everything belongs to everybody. And so he thought they're stealing from him. In fact, they weren't, and he was punishing them for it by taking his 24 canoes. Mm-hmm. And he just ruined the relationship with him by doing that pretty much. And I put that as a way not to set an example, or I forget the term for it, that they have in the book, one of the 5 leadership deals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I use that, and some people thought, like one girl that I replied to and kind of questioned her on it about him laying claim to all the lands and stuff. And so I often look for someone that has an opposite view than I do, because I don't always like saying, and I agree to you, and you repeat what they say.
Yeah, no, I did the same. I ended up not agreeing with someone, or I mean, just putting my point of view, because they put for ineffective leadership that when it was time to go back to England, that he didn't take the direct route. And I said, well, actually, I looked at that as he was being a forward-looking leader, because he had 3 options that he came up with. One was go to the south extreme, go to the south extreme and see some southern continent, or go straight home where there'd be nothing to see, or the third route was to go to the northernmost extreme. I think Horn and kind of mapped out on the way and still get back. So I'm like, well, that's forward looking that he looked for ways to optimize it. And so it's just interesting because there's multiple perspectives to it.
Yeah, there is. I think that the one showing where he was an exceptional leader, no brainer, was on the Great Coral Reef.
Mm-hmm.
Man in control in a crisis situation, and then incorporated enabling others to act with that midshipman Monkhouse, I believe.
Yes.
Jonathan Monkhouse, and how he says, "Hey, I've seen this before," and he just let him take command and control, which kind of is what I've done plenty of times in my buildings. I don't try to be a subject matter expert on everything, and if you know more than I do, I hopefully admit it, and now you're in charge, not me, because you know what you're doing, and we're just following your lead. So I was able to relate to that in that aspect.
Yeah, no, that, and to me, that's perfect. That's like adaptive leadership. Like, utilize the resources that you have. You know, you got to, I think a good leader understands that they're not the expert of every topic, like exactly like you just said. So, I mean, why not utilize your resources and lean on other people when you can?
Right. When you pretend to know everything, you, in my book, set yourself up for failure, and you often will end up looking foolish.
Oh, totally.
Because you're just sidestepping, making stuff up as you go, and etc. Admit what you don't know, and let those who do know take charge. Or at least hear them out, like Captain Cook did with Midshipman Bunkhouse. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta look that up. That's gonna bug me. Make sure I got his name right. But,
yeah, no, I thought he was I thought he was an okay leader. I mean, obviously there were some areas I put where he was ineffective. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry. Okay, Corinne, are you there?
I see her, but I can't hear her. Well, I can't see her. I see her picture.
Yeah. Anyways, I just totally drew a blank. But, well, do you want to jump in, I guess, to the second question? Maybe we'll just work our way through the worksheet, and then we can fill the time talking about
Sure.
what else. So, number 2, under the best of conditions, what vision would you wish to see from your team or workplace to 5 years from now? I guess for me is to be a more collaborative team. And we kind of came out of a time where we had a leader who was a former sheriff that kind of drove a bunch of wedges between the different divisions and within administration to the linemen. And he kind of tabled everything by saying he was taking everything under advisement and then never gave us clear direction. So kind of created a everybody for themselves approach. And so we're doing good at getting back to working as a team, but we have a long ways to go. So that would be, I guess, my envision, again, is to have a collaborative approach. Everybody, I guess, leans in at the table, gives their input, and we can work more effective or cohesive as a group.
Gotcha. This one was I guess, kind of difficult because working for state government, just about everything is scripted. You don't step this way or that way. It right down to how you collaborate. And for instance, like one of my buildings that I have to go in and monitor the well water deal and stuff is ALT. They're more than willing to. The people there are more than willing to work with us. They got the big equipment and stuff, and sometimes we'd love to use their bucket loaders or excavator or whatever. But we can't,
right,
because we have to bill them, or they got to bill us, which stops us from just working together as one. But that would be awesome. So that's where I'd like to see the state go. Like, instead of having such a divide between the different divisions, it work together. You save a ton of money, but now they're stuck. Well, BGS, my division buildings, will charge ALT if we got to go replace one of their windows or do one of their toilets, plumbing or whatever. But I think because so now it's a divide and everybody looks at the others as if one division feels they're better than the other, even though they're different entities, I guess. Yeah, like being more collaborative and working together would be great. I don't think it'll ever happen unless state figures that out.
Yeah, I think you and I are echoing the same words. Welcome to government work, right?
Exactly.
It can work efficient. It has to, like, no, I know exactly what you mean. We struggle with the same thing. You know, we're the best example I can give of a collaborative approach from a government setting is when I worked in Las Vegas. The city and the county departments, police and sheriff, were consolidated into one back in like 1971 or 73. I can't remember the exact date, but so they really, instead of duplicating resources, they eliminated a lot of waste and, you know, kind of made it, everything was more streamlined and it was very efficient. You know, then I kind of came here to Olmsted County and, you know, the city and the county gets along, but not as good as they could. And you kind of see there's a power trip of the chief wants to show that he's really powerful. The sheriff wants to show he's powerful. So they kind of sometimes refuse to, I guess, I don't want to say bend the knee to the other one, but to allow the other person to be right or have an opinion. And so a lot of times there's a rift where if we just work together, we could eliminate so much waste. And we, like I said, that we could have a more collaborative approach, but we don't do that. And that's, I think that's a huge hurdle in government as far as being a leader in government, like you're saying too.
Yeah. It's funny how well, not funny, it's enlightening, I guess, to some of my thoughts of the sheriffs versus the city police versus the state police. There's, from what I see, there's a divide.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sheriffs do all the I don't know, the detail work, and the city police just police up the city, and then you got the state. And for instance, if something goes on at my courthouse, the sheriffs are there inside monitoring the going-ons in there. But outside of the courthouse, if there's a fight, the sheriffs won't respond. They'll say, call the city. It's
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's a collaborative approach. That, and like they said, that seriously would be my vision for the 1 to 5 years in the workplace, is that we all work more collaboratively. And we're making steps to get there, but it seems like we're one step forward, 2 steps back right now. Is that we still have some of the older administration that's very strong-willed about the way things used to be and don't want to adapt to the new life. I mean, maybe it's a generational thing that, you know, what worked for them, doesn't work for us, but they're not willing to compromise. And I mean, that's kind of what we deal with.
Gotcha.
Corinne, are you back?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Perfect. No worries.
You guys,
We were just on question 2. Sorry, where it was under the best conditions. What visions would you wish to see from your team or workplace 1 to 5 years from now? I scared her away, I think.
You might have. She looks frozen. I wonder if she's traveling around and keeps going in and out of signal. But where's she from? All the way west?
Didn't she say she was in Portland? She could. I wonder if she could call back just on speakerphone on one of our phones.
Oh, there she is.
You got us?
like right as I'm like asking a question, it's like, no, you're done.
That's funny. We're on question 2. If you see what it is, if you want, I can read it to you. If you want to say what you think.
Can you read it? I'm scared to close out of the app.
Nope. So question 2, under the best conditions, what visions would you wish to see from your team or your workplace in 1 to 5 years from now?
I'd like to see the partner engagement go up. Like we call partners employees, basically, if that's confusing. Engagement go up over the next 5 years. It's the lowest it's been in 10 years in the company. And I've given a lot of feedback to my managers and the regional vice president that I think they're putting too much on the baristas' plates and even the store managers' plates every single quarter that we have. It's getting more and more complex for no real reason. So employees are just getting burned out faster and they don't have the same passion for the craft. I'm with another coworker in the car, so she's agreeing with me, that they just feel burned out and they are not passionate about the job anymore. And Starbucks always says that they're partner focused and that they want to focus on developing their talent, but they're really losing a lot of people in that sense. So that's something I try and do at my level in my store, is boost partner engagement and make sure that I'm developing my people. But it really needs to be more of a company level focus rather than kind of these arbitrary things. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the tie-dye frappuccino, like the unicorn frappuccino, stuff like that, where it's just overly complicated
Yes.
and partners just aren't excited about it because they know that they're just going to have to work really hard to deliver this product to people that are just lining up out the door just to get a picture of it. And they don't really get an incentive for it. They're just expected to do the work. So things like that compounded with just increasingly complicated launch seasons are just making us have higher turnover rates and losing talent to other companies.
Oh, no, it's very good. So you guys don't have like, kind of what it sounds like, and I don't work in your industry, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Is that there's not like proper goal attainment or goal alignment with like the incentive to, hey, I know we're pushing a new product out, but do this, meet us here, and in turn, we'll kick off an incentive for the hard work or something like that.
Nope. The only incentive they really have is partner of the quarter. So they get to vote on like an employee of the quarter every 3 months. And they get like a $75 bonus, something along those lines. But that's just one person every 3 months.
Right.
And I don't even have the authority to raise their pay in my store.
Uh-oh.
Well, hopefully she'll come back here in a moment.
Yeah, I was interested where she was going with that.
And that's interesting. I mean, I can see why you would be frustrated in her environment. If all of a sudden corporates kick, hey, you need to do this. Oh, you back?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. You had a cliffhanger. You were just saying that you couldn't raise pay, but.
Oh, I didn't know if you could. Yeah, I can't raise pay, but I can like give them corrective action. So I can give them negative corrections and like negative coaching, but I don't really have anything positive to give them other than a thank you and here's more hours if you'd like them.
Right. We share a similar frustration in government in the fact that I can't give like, here's a year-end bonus because you did a phenomenal job, and I can't, other than the agreed contractual prices of like their annual review. Like if they get an excellent, they get through this year it's a 3% raise. If they get an average, they get a 2.5% raise, and if they get a satisfactory, they get a 2% raise, and if they get below that, they don't get a raise. But everybody kind of gets that across the board, so there's not like a tangible benefit. So when you can't do that, but like you said, you can give out discipline, because we do our own internal investigations on our guys. We'll hand out a day off without pay if they screw up or something like that. Yeah. It's really hard to be a mentor on one hand and then like almost the juror or judge on the other hand. And then coupled without being able to give a tangible benefit, like you said, where only one employee gets employed a quarter, it can make it difficult as a leader to motivate a team.
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm putting all this on their plate and I'm asking them to deliver an experience or a product, whatever I need them to do, but there's no end goal for them other than me saying, great, thanks for doing that. It's hard to put it on their plate because I know that I would be overwhelmed in their position too. But they also know that if I'm putting pressure on them, it's because I'm getting pressure too from the people above me.
Oh, totally. So to kind of, I guess, jump ahead in this, and this is one of the questions on the weekly discussion and talked about it in chapter 5, is for effective visions is to have a shared vision with your team. What do you think a vision of your team members would be, or a goal that corporate could align with that and make it a shared vision by everybody?
That's actually interesting. My district manager has been asking us, all the stores in his district, to come up with a vision for our store. But it's really more focused on the customer experience and what we're going to do to make sure that we're making our customers happy rather than creating the environment in our stores for our employees. So I'd really like to create a vision that's inclusive in both ways, where my partners are engaging with customers because they're happy to be there and they're actually passionate about the job. Because right now it's really like pulling teeth trying to get them to connect with customers because they're not being compensated and they're overworked and they're tired. and there's nothing I can really do for them except hire more people, which means their hours are going to drop, or
Uh-oh.
Another cliffhanger.
Exactly. No, she was hitting good points. Interesting because when we talk about a shared vision,
Oh,
it's
okay.
back.
I'm back. Yeah, just ignore me if I cut out. It seems to be
We
popping back
were
on pretty good
starting
lately.
to. No, that's all.
Yeah.
What about Rob? Do you see in your work like a shared vision or something? If you ask your team, what would be a 1 to 5 year goal that you think that they would say that they would want that you could align with?
Well, that totally depends on who I ask. My
Right.
team is mainly just go-getters and stuff. I hear the word better teamwork a lot because I have 7 buildings, different people in each building, and most of the people will go help anybody within the district. I can just send them anywhere without argument. And I have that 2%, one person that just, he'll tell you straight to your face, he don't care. He's there
Mhm.
to just get his check, go home. That's it, plain satisfaction. And he does just enough to where I can't do anything to him besides
Mhm.
get frustrated as hell. But like I was talking earlier with the collaboration, everybody working together, my team has expressed that they enjoy the teamwork and they wish it would be better because I'm in charge of Rutland City, and then you got Pittsburgh, all the same people, all the same job, all the same specialties. They hate coming together and work. They just think one's better than the other. So, but it's been expressed that why can't we all just work as a team? I've heard that more often than not. I guess when you come under difficult situations where you'd really like to have extra help, but the other districts won't come to the aid.
Right.
So it's odd. It's state government, and I can't force anybody beyond a certain radius to come and work.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's difficult when it talks about like a shared vision or a leader creating vision, and you hear those, I don't want to say boilerplate terms, but when they're like, oh, I wish we could have more. I mean, I use the word collaboration, but we wish we could have more teamwork, like you said, or like a more cohesiveness or stuff. But then yet you don't get the buy-in from the people below you or your direct reports, or like they don't take that effort to try to make it a reality. They expect you to do everything as a leader. That's a little bit difficult too.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think that they love the idea of it, but they don't always want to do the heavy lifting. Like I can organize a team bonding event or I can like promote it at my store, but I'm just one.
give it a moment.
We did kind of the same thing as what I think she was alluding to, and I'll stop if she clicks back. But our sheriff one year decided he was going to have a sheriff's office picnic, get together, if you will, where it was kind of a potluck. People brought stuff. He brought a bunch of stuff. There, there was even beer and stuff there. I mean, it was a bring your own beer, so it wasn't sponsored. And everyone talked about, oh, we're not a family, we don't do stuff together. So the sheriff organized this picnic, brought a ton of food, brought like we were playing bean bags, all that stuff. Everyone kind of brought their own beer. Out of 150 people in our office, we had like 20 of us that showed up, and it's the same 20 that show up to every event. So it's like you can do these like team building exercises and stuff, but then yet the people that you're trying to get in there and the ones that complain that they don't feel like a team, they don't show up. So that's very difficult.
Yep,
Totally.
she's back, but I can elaborate on what you just said. If you want to finish screen, Corinne.
I heard that tail end of it. It sounds kind of like what I said. Like my team wanted me to organize something for them this summer, and I told them, I'm like, I'll pick the date, I'll schedule you guys to be off, I'll borrow partners, but you guys really need to decide what you want to do so that I know you guys are going to be part of it, because I'm not going to organize this whole thing and have 2 people show up.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
pretty much exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, in my organization, BGS Buildings and Grounds, there's approximately 400 to 500 BGS employees in the state of Vermont. We're spread everywhere. When I first joined, they had what they call BGS Day, and it was in the middle of the state. And out of all the people, less than a quarter would show up, and this was year after year after year. And they'd be prizes. They try to do these games. They try to make it fun, I guess. And most people there were just mandatory fun sort of deal. They really weren't involved, even though it wasn't mandatory. They probably told you better show up, and they'd have choose one person out of the entire state as BGS Employee of the Year, and it'd be a $500 bonus and all that stuff. And it was always going to the same group of BGS employees, which was based around the capital. It was very unfair. To try to make it better, they broke the state up into quarters, and now they have 4 BGS employees a year, and they pay for the catering and stuff. But the problem is people still fight going to it. For some reason, they just dig in their heels and resist it. And I don't quite understand that. It's a paid day to eat hot dogs, hamburgers, salad, and play games, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But they still got that bunch that's so resistant to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it just baffles me, really.
Yeah. I've noticed that the loudest people are typically the ones that don't want to do the actual work. The ones that
Exactly.
complain a lot are the ones that don't show up.
Exactly. I think we all kind of share that agreement with you.
Yeah.
Should we go on to, I guess, number 3 then? It says, now, especially if those previous visions were not as far-reaching or positive in outlook as you would wish, let's reframe those visions a bit with questions such as, if I could do blank, how would it begin? Or to start making blank a reality, what would my first step be and what would my next step be?
That's kind of tough. I stared at this and kind of skipped over it, thinking something would come to me. To be honest with you.
All right.
Oh,
I took the one from 2. I'll give you a second here. Sorry if I cut you off. Like when I talked about collaboration, if so to fill in the blanks, I guess if I could do collaboration with my team, how would I begin? The first thing is I'd try to get everyone together and have a. I know it's easier said than done, but try to get a mutual feeling of trust where I tell everyone, here's the deal. We're going to just bounce ideas off in this room today. I want everyone to feel like they can say what they want without fear of reprimand when we leave this room. But I want to get everyone's buy-in to how do you think we can function better as a team? What can we do? What suggestions that they have, and then put them on a planning board and work on implementing them so that there's buy-in from the whole group so they feel vested, like they help to decide what direction we're going to go. I would try to include them in that steps.
I think I'd do something similar. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead.
I think I would do something similar. I'd like to have the ability to have more meetings with my entire team. Starbucks doesn't really do store meetings anymore. Like we can set up meetings with our shift supervisors, but I pretty much just meet with people in small groups as I work with them. I'd like to open it up for more discussion to them. However, my one concern is that the issues that they're going to bring up are just things that I can't change, like their work level. I'd like to hear how I can support them more in the work that I expect them to do, but I don't have the ability to change what's on their plate now. That's coming down from corporate. But if there's something I can do as far as like planning or executing that makes it easier for them, then I'd be open to hearing that. But if it's just going to turn into, I don't want to do the clean play, which is like a 2-hour deep clean of the store.
Oh, totally.
That's just something you got to do. And I know that I'm going to get some of that. Like, I don't want to make frappuccinos anymore. No one does, but it's part of the job.
I can see what you're saying. I've been in plenty of meetings where what can we do better or whatever, and it turns into a bitch fest.
Yeah.
Everybody, what about this? What about that? I do talk a lot about with my employees because my manager is of different character, I guess. He's not respected. He's secretive. He's not transparent, so on and so forth. And he makes decisions. And I spend most of my time answering questions as to who, what, why, where, and how pertaining to him. And he's kind of, I guess he's my blocker in building my team up farther than they are currently because it's inconsistencies and not being truthful. Where we had this discussion, talked about this a little bit. I don't know if it's the last week or the week before about transparent and being honest, and sometimes you kind of can't deal. I can't remember exactly what we talked about, but he's
I think that was
always like,
last week.
was it? Yeah, but no, I think I could go a lot farther if maybe I did take over his job, even though I really don't want it. For the main part, that he deals with Montpelier and his job's not protected.
Yeah.
But so that's how it begin. Is I'd have to take over his job because he's the one that everybody diverts to. Well, Bill said Bill does this. Why is Bill saying this when he really means that? Sort of.
Hmm.
And, um, anything else on that one?
No, I don't think so. Not for me anyway.
I don't have anything else on that one either.
Perfect. All right. We're cruising right along, so that's good. Number 4. Now turn to truly long-term, overarching vision. What vision do you and/or your family or team have for 20 to 40 years into the future? Note, some students cannot resist focusing on material gains such as profit or savings when thinking of this. I understand the importance of that, but I want a true vision of what you want to be at a deep level. What do you want your life to mean?
Yeah. Well, in less than 20, I'll be retired.
I'll be right on that bubble. Well, yeah, I'll be on that bubble.
Well,
Yeah, I
okay.
got
Yeah.
wow.
I'd say for me, I mean, I'd like to continue to be successful and grow my career. I'll probably change career paths at some point. I'd like to do something that I feel like has more of an impact. Um, but for now, I'm fine working for a corporation. As far as like large goals, like I said, I like to travel. Um, there's honestly no place that I don't want to go. I'd like to see as much as I possibly can. And eventually, I definitely want a family. But that's definitely probably the last thing on my list right now.
I think, like for me, I think what's important, my long-term, honestly, vision is just to kind of maintain a healthy work-life balance. I want to do a good job at my job. I'd like to try to move up the food chain if I stay with my employer, and someday even maybe consider running for sheriff and being the main leader. But I also want to keep, I guess, my doors open to what other stuff could I do. I'd like to maybe someday get in contract work where you make recommendations to corporations in terms of physical or logistics and security in that. Maybe even in the IT realm. Maybe possibly starting up one of my own businesses at some point. And then, to balance that, like I said, with the family is I just kind of want to be that role model dad who's, I guess, always there. And it's part of my drive to finish school is to show my daughter the importance of it, and so that she strives to go and get a good education. That's honestly probably about what my vision is.
I'd say about 20 to 40 years from now, it kind of depends on what happens in the next 5 years, whether I make it out of Vermont or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if I stay in the state of Vermont, DFM project manager would be better, but for that to happen, I got to wait for an opening. And like you said, I want to be remembered as a guy known as like hard worker, the likable guy, I guess. Right now, I kind of struggle with that. People don't know quite how to take me. Even though I have the best of intentions, somehow this mug scares them off. And I really don't understand. I don't know, maybe because sometimes I'm awkward and one-on-one. I hate silence. I feel like everything's got to keep going. I'd be terrible in an Asian culture where silence is fine, I guess. But I don't know. I guess the guy that just worked hard, likable, is what I want to be remembered at. The fearless soldier, the incredible leader, all that cool stuff. But again, everything depends on the next 5 years on what state I'm going to be in physically.
No, I think that's very appropriate.
Yeah.
This question kind of bled right into number 5. So I was just looking ahead, but it just said if it helps to reframe question 4, then we just roll on. It says, what would you want written about you in your obituary? I mean, I think we kind of coined that. I don't want to, I guess, think about my obituary today, but I guess just being a good family person. And I don't want, I want to have a rewarding career, but I don't want my career to be my life. You know, that kind of some of the people I know that I looked up to, I mean, in a way that they were the ones that had no problem working 60, 70 hours a week until practically the day they died. And that was their whole life and consumed them, and they missed out on some of their family activities. I don't want that to be me. I want to be successful, but I want that balance to where my family doesn't feel like I made them feel like they're second place.
Exactly. I don't think your job defines you. I think your character does.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you'll never change about an individual, and I read this somewhere, is you can't change their personality. You can direct them by rules and regulations and everything, but one's personality, they're born with it. It's not changing. I forget which class I learned that in. It wasn't too long ago. So
yeah, you're talking trait versus skill, and what is the traits that you can't change a person, and personality can sometimes be one of them. I know what you're talking about.
okay, yeah.
Yep.
So I don't. Yeah, it can be known as the hard worker, the work ethic, and all that stuff. That's in yourself, and I wouldn't mind being remembered by that. My gravestone, I'd love to say the fearless airborne leader that did whatever we could.
I don't really know what I would want my obituary to say, other than, that I was as kind and fair as I could be. I think family's important too. Like you said, I want to have a good work-life balance. I definitely would not describe myself as a workaholic. I definitely enjoy taking my breaks and making sure that my career isn't the only thing in my life.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really have enough big pieces of my life figured out yet for me to know what I would really want. I think that's kind of harder for me to think about right now.
No, that's
too abstract.
Sorry, guys. Yelling at me. There. But I think our last question kind of is how can you challenge your process? How can you make yourself into a lifelong learner? I guess for me, I'm kind of doing that right now, improving that. I know I used this answer like the other week, but in school again, I had a 15-year hiatus between last time I was in college till now. I'm not that sorry. I had a 17-year or a 13-year break, and it would have been really easy to say no. I don't want to do that. I'm happy with where I'm at. I make enough to have a living, so I didn't need to go back to school, but I want to strive to do more. I like learning about leadership stuff, and I want to kind of continue. So I think that's my thing is always, keep reading, keep taking electives, and then keep putting theory to practice. Like just model whatever ways I can be a leader by taking on extra assignments and doing stuff like that.
That's good. That makes sense. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm 46 and back at school again. Throughout my military career, I had spurts at college whenever it allowed. It proved to be difficult because I get started in a class and then I'm deployed somewhere. But with me, I like learning by. Am I buzzing hard?
What's that?
I keep hearing out wah 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 over.
I heard that too.
Yeah, so did I. I don't know if that's something with the app or what's going on.
I don't know. Oh,
I hear you fine.
I guess if you can hear me fine, I'll just keep going. But where was I? Oh, as far as learning, challenging the process, we kind of talked about it earlier with Captain Cook allowing midshipmen to take over the process of saving the ship from sinking. And when I'm in a situation and there's someone that knows more than I do, I don't pretend to know everything. That's what we do. And I learned from them. I let them take charge. You know, I'm the supervisor, or when we have contractors coming in, I'm always watching, always observing. That's just the stuff that interests me. I like working with my hands, and I'm constantly trying to learn more about that. And of course, this class is teaching me more about leadership and makes me a more effective leader by the end.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I think being a lifelong learner, also you need to be open to feedback. I know a lot of people that really aren't, and they don't take feedback well, and then that way they don't grow. I enjoy feedback, and I feel like I thrive on it, especially at work. I usually ask my leader for feedback too, like what can I do better? What do I need to improve on? Because, like you said, you never know everything. There's always someone you can learn things from. So, in every aspect of your life, not just in your career.
I believe leadership is a constant learning process. You know, I wrote something. I'm trying to read my own writing here. I can't read what I said.
Oh, that's funny. That's all good. I mean, that's all the questions. I don't know where we're sitting at timing wise or that.
8:21. I have it's 9:13.
We got about 8 minutes.
Something like that. Something like that.
I guess in overall talking about vision is obviously, I'd like to have my vision be something that's achievable, attainable, that, is would benefit myself, my organization, and the people that I lead. That we can all work towards the same, I guess, a shared vision in my work life, so that way it doesn't conflict with other people's visions and that. I like to see everybody achieve and succeed at what they want. And then for my family vision, I'd like that again to be where my family always feels like, I'm making them a big part of my decisions and I'm not leaving anybody out or anything like that. So I think we have multiple visions in life. And I just think that I want my visions to be reflective of what my and who I am as a person. And I hope that it doesn't ever kind of go in different directions.
Exactly. I think the visions need to align with your family values completely. Like I said, that's why I haven't jumped from straight to Virginia yet. My daughter in school, my wife in her current job, trying to get through her internship, and there's a lot of constraints. It's a balancing act also. I said my vision is down south where I don't deal with Vermont's harsh winters and I don't deal with Florida heat. So I think Virginia would be perfect.
Right.
But there's a path to get there, and right now it's not reachable. It's a goal. I'm not sure if it's full vision, but it's definitely a goal.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys were just talking about your life visions, right?
I was just saying that, for visions, I think we all have multiple visions throughout our life that they might be different visions, like a work vision, a life vision. But I guess my driving thing is I want my visions to be reflective of my character and something that I can look back and say, yeah, that wasn't just for the betterment of me, but for everyone around me. And that, I'm proud of what my vision was.
Yeah, absolutely.
You watch old movies, westerns or whatever, Indians, and they talk about people write songs about us and tell stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that guy. People just
Nice.
have cool stories, funny, old, bad, whatever, but if you can remember me, then I guess I did something. As long as it was for the right thing, I remembered by.
All right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're probably kind of good. What is your guys' thoughts for next week?
You do the same time, same place.
Yeah.
If you're good, same time, same day. I mean,
Yeah, works for me, and I'll be back in California, so I shouldn't have any issues.
There you go.
Yeah.
So next week it should work for me. I'm like 95% sure I can make this work.
Okay.
My job is I got to coordinate our county fair every year, and I put myself working till 8 o'clock that night, which would be, we started at 7:30 my time, so it would be a half hour later if I had to do that. But I'm pretty sure I can sneak out early and get someone to cover. If all of a sudden last minute it was one of those that I might have to start a half hour later, is that okay with you guys, or is that too late?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
that's perfectly fine with me. Whatever works.
Let's plan on the same time for now, and I'll try to let you know as soon as I can. I'm 99% sure that I can do the same time, just as a contingency. If it doesn't, I'll send you guys a message and say, hey, can we start a half hour later? But let's plan time for now if that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Perfectly fine. I like the fact that we kind of do it Wednesday and it's not due till Sunday, which leaves a pretty good buffer in between.
Yeah, that gives me time to kind of focus on some of the other stuff. I don't know if I was like a little bit slow in the process today or what, but I took today off of work. I was just telling Rob to do some of this, and I felt like it took me like 4 hours just to get through the reading and to the discussion and even get ready for this. I was like, geez, it was more time than I thought.
Yeah, this class is, I put it bluntly, it's kind of beat me at my ass a little bit because of the amount of reading and the test I'm trying to figure out. You got to do verbatim, word for word, and my eyesight sucks. My near vision and far is so screwed up. I'm changing glasses a lot.
Yeah.
More consuming there, and I took the quiz on blue latitudes, the shorter quiz.
Yep.
And there's a few questions you got to hunt for, and they're not under what he prescribed to write. I actually wrote it down, but I can't find it. I was going to share with you where I found it because I did ace it.
What's the shorter quiz that you're talking about?
It's the challenge quiz. It's second to last in the module of checks to do.
Oh, okay.
So you got the regular one that deals with the main book.
Yep.
And there's another quiz you got to take this week that's 11 questions long that deal with the blue latitudes.
Oh, I got you.
And it's the same stuff. Some of them, like one question is, what did the sailors eat that kind of gave them scurvy sort of deal? Something that, not verbatim, but with that. It's like, I don't remember what the hell they ate to avoid catch scurvy. But
never mind. I was thinking of the part where they talked about the venereal disease and they gave them mercury and then couldn't figure out why they were drooling or dizzy.
No, this doesn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
Max, I did write it down. I was like, damn, if I figure this out, I'd like to share.
Hey, if you feel free to share it if you find it later by text.
Yeah, well, if you get stuck, text me. I'll probably have found it by then. But it took me almost 20 minutes to find that one passage.
Jeez.
Because it's not in what the numbers he wrote to read. You know, he said like 20 to 25 or 167 or whatever. It's not in any of that. He said, hint, look in the index, but the index doesn't tell you jack. I think I found it by accident.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to help your team out, I wouldn't be mad at you.
I'll find it. It's like page 328 or something like that.
Oh, funny. Well, hey, I think we had another good, productive week. Rob, thanks again for doing the recording and taking kind of the bulk of the work and sending the link out.
Yep.
And if you guys need anything from me, let me know. Otherwise, why don't we'll plan on the same time next week unless something happens, and then I'll make sure to let you know right away.
Okay, sounds good.
Enjoy your vacation.
No, thanks.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, see ya.
Bye.